Experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 6, recorded on Monday, September 22nd, 2014. I am your host, Fred, aka Sith Lord Corv. And joining me this week as we reclaim the Crimson Seabiscuithawk is my Imperial Agent friend, Lou.
Hello, Fred. Hello, everyone. What's going on Twitch? What's going on YouTube? How's everyone? Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Stay a while and listen.
Bad impression.
Yeah, no comment.
And also joining us is Captain Kimbre.
Hola! How's it going, everybody?
And still not back from the Republic side of the Terrace Cantina is Zizi the Bounty Hunter. If he's not back by next week, we'll look into that. And also joining us is Treek. And ID10T. And real quick, before we get into it, I'd like to mention that we're going to be doing our next audio project soon, and we'd like to get some of our listeners involved. If you have the ability to record your own voice in high quality, and you're willing to send us some audio for the project, shoot us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com, and we will be in contact.
I think that we're going to get a bunch of weirdos sending us just things that they make up. They're like, and I'm a Jedi. It's going to happen.
Well, we already got one submission from Snave where he linked us to a bunch of YouTube videos where he completely changed the lines to the movie 300 to where it was him kicking Musco into the pit.
God.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
Your epic threshold is very low.
When you get to be incredibly old, it's very easy to entertain you.
Small minds. It was mildly amusing. I'll give it that, and only that.
And on that note, we offer free shout-outs where we'll announce birthdays, anniversaries, anything you want. So if you're interested in that, just get a hold of us. Let us know. We'll put it in the next show. You can find out more about this show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can also find more about us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. And you can tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. Our show's available in both iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And of course, we always record the show live Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming. Or, in the spirit of my sage on Jedi Covenant, I like to think of it as Nosh T Gaming.
I kind of prefer no SHT gaming. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. I like that one better.
Crossing you off of my life day card list.
Oh, thank the stars. I mean, oh, what a shame.
It's the last time I give you the last Twizzler in my dispenser.
Ugh, so melty. Ugh.
Melty.
Speaking of melty, Paige, what do we have coming up in the captain's log?
I don't know how, speaking of melty, leads you to me. Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our weekly game, Expansion 3.0 teaser, and more speculation. We have Agent Olan's Intelligence Report, where Lou will present Kuat Drive Yards Part 2. Plus, the weekly winner of Agent Olan's Star Wars Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in the Community Holo feed.
But, as always, we have something quick to mention. And this is coming from the Star Wars The Old Republic by our website itself. And what is it, folks? It's this. We're happy to announce that the next stop in the Star Wars The Old Republic Community Cantina Tour will be happening on Thursday, October 9th, 2014. This is your chance to join the Star Wars The Old Republic community for a development team Q&A, as well as complimentary drinks, food, and giveaways. Yes, free swag. Every attendee will be receiving a highly coveted M83R astromech code. If you're in the area, make sure to stop by and hang out with us. This is the venue. Well, the bar is going to be. It's called Stitch Bar and Lounge. The date, Thursday, October 9th, 2014. Time from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern. And the address is 247 West 37th Street. And where is this, folks? That's right. My hometown, New York, New York. They even gave me the zip code, 10018. Space will be limited, so be sure to arrive early. You can RSVP on Facebook, on their Facebook page. RSVP is not required for and does not guarantee admittance, just to warn you about that. We look forward to seeing you there. The Star Wars Old Republic community team. And, as an aside, folks, important note, this is an adult event and all attendees must be 21 years or older to participate. Please be prepared to show ID. And folks, since this is my hometown and I do know about the actual place they're holding in, they're serious. That bar will not allow anyone in there who's under 21. They don't do the 18 or 21 to drink. They rather avoid that kind of those issues, so you have to be 21 to actually enter the bar. So if you're under 21, sorry.
I think that they got the zip code wrong for this.
Did they?
I think it's 10108 because I remember that song from Stickly when I was a child.
Oh, God.
Going, write to me, Stickly, P.O. Box 963, New York City, New York State, 10108.
Fred, you know there are probably different zip codes there, right?
The whole bunch of them.
They wouldn't be off by over 100.
Okay. Can I just say about that, though, that Buckeye said that we should make you go to that one in New York?
We're going to fly over, and when we get close, we're going to put Lou in the spare escape pod. We're going to launch him right down in there. I told him when he gets there to grab a handful of flash drives and come back with enough for everybody.
And some chicken, please.
And Jay saying bring money because they only give you one drink. Hey, one drink? Fine, that's all I need. I'll be hanging out with the rest of the crew. Hopefully get to meet the rest of the podcast community if they're there in the neighborhood as well, if they're in the area.
Are you going to go?
I don't know yet. Don't know. We'll see.
If you do go, you know you have to tell us about it.
That's right. I will. I'll keep that in mind.
And if you don't go, you're going to be tortured.
Wow.
Fair
Okay.
warning.
Wow.
It's the will of the Emperor.
Well, I know I missed when the game first opened. They were actually in New York City. Around, I think it was Union Square. I think they were at a GameStop in that area, just in that neighborhood, and I couldn't go because I was at work. So hopefully this time around I'll actually have time and actually get to go to one. So, knock on wood.
And so, it's time to move into the Captain's Log then. Paige, what have you been up to over the last week?
We got our leveling group up to 21, and we're on the planet Balmora now. I know Fred's really happy to be there. During our gameplay video, which our YouTubers and our live listeners will be seeing, I got a little bored. I asked Fred if he wouldn't mind pulling two groups instead of one at a time. I was that bored. And he thought it would be a good idea to run past one group to pull two groups. So he face-pulled one group and then ran into two more groups. And he doesn't realize that 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. And I'm pretty sure that we died. I really don't remember if we did. But it was just a cluster. Oh, no, I can't say that. It was bad. I forget why
It was
this...
a Shaduki storm.
Yes, it was a Shaduki storm. That's exactly what it was. Thank you. I forget why this is relevant, but during our weekly leveling group play session, Fred talked about farts and sang about squirrels. I kind of want you to sing that song that you sang on the air, but I don't remember it, so
I don't remember talking about farts.
Oh, I do. I wrote it down. During our leveling group play session, Lou lost all the important roles. All of them. And it made me so happy. Sorry, Lou.
I'll fix that later on this week. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you know what? Keep things on an even keel. You'll probably win them all tomorrow.
The chat room is noticing that this is the video while we just dance for like an hour.
Yeah, I forget what had happened. We were waiting on something or someone, so we just stood there and danced until the other person showed up. What were we waiting on? ZZ, right? I think he was having trouble with the patch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was scoping out Republic territory.
Is that what was happening? He was spying and then reporting back to us what was going on?
Somebody had to fetch my zebra cakes.
Anyway. Outside of the time that we spent together, I did do a couple things on my main. I decided I wanted money, not because I needed it, but just because I wanted to keep my money at a decent level since I was spending it to level up my trade skill, so I decided to do some dailies. I was spending it to level up my trade skills, and I wanted to replenish only what I had spent. My goal wasn't to make a ton of money. I just wanted to keep it where I had it, my comfortable level, my little cushion. Dailies aren't normally my thing, and ended up doing the black hole dailies. It's still not my thing. I got bored. Speaking of boring, I also queued myself up for some heroics, and since it was taking forever and 3 years to pop, I decided to queue for tacticals. Of course, that popped instantly, and I got into KDY, which is the worst, because I've done it so much. I'm on Jedi Covenant, and I really wish that heroics would pop sometime, in the century, instead of taking forever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel your pain as well, but I think a lot of folks realize that just queuing up for KDY is the fastest way to level. And I think that's why a lot of people the queues take so long with other stuff.
It's just ridiculous, though. The fastest way isn't always the right way. But I guess that no one has to do things the right way. They can do things however they want, even if it's stupid. Sorry. Also played my bounty hunter with Fred Sorcerer. We're on Alderaan. I signed on and poked around while I was waiting for him, and I discovered that Galt's affection is at -18. Why you a hater, bro?
Wow.
I don't know what I did to him. I don't remember any conversations that we had, but he really doesn't like me. I did forget that I was light side, and during one of my class story quests, I punched a guy in the face. Oops. And I was like, wait a second. I'm light side. I had to start over, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. I don't get to punch him in the face now.
Now that I've seen it, I can't go back. I can't do it.
I almost didn't want to go back. I was like, oh, what's done is done. I was like, no, hit escape. Fred and I also do a heroic 4 together that gave me an opportunity to kind of test my tanking skills on my bounty hunter. It went pretty smoothly, but it did remind me that I needed to take the time to upgrade my gear. And since I was about to max out on my commendations anyway, I knew it had been a while. So I did take some time to upgrade my gear, and I hope it does make a difference, because I would like to try to tank a flashpoint with him healing, because I trust him as a healer. It's not that... What am I trying to say? It's not that my skill's bad. It's just that my gear was really bad. So everything was going well. I just couldn't take much of a hit. And as I was upgrading my gear, I saw all my stats changing. I was like, damn, I should have done this like a week ago. Oh, well. Because my bounty hunter is light side, his sorcerer is dark side, and he won so many of the dark side roles. Thank goodness for that, because boy, do I hate sounding like Captain America or Buzz Lightyear being like, oh, let me help you, and you're no, I don't care.
Really felt like you won every single conversation role, and then when it came time for the light side dark side decision, I always won.
Yeah, well, don't be upset. You won where it counted. I may have done all the talking, but you did all the decision making. You're the power behind the throne.
Well, I am the Sith.
And lastly, I have a lot of recipes and patterns and all that sitting in my inventory on Jedi Covenant. I try to give them to Fred so that he could level up his trade skills, but he's an ingrate and either doesn't take them out of his mailbox or doesn't want them. So I was wondering if you might want them, Lou. I have all different things.
If you have anything for helps with biochem, yes, send them my way.
You're gonna have to tweet, message me your name or something, because I don't know your people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it'll definitely be on my operative though.
The names are written on the bathroom wall.
If this is on your Imperial characters, yeah, then I'll probably shoot you in-game mail from my operative and at least my Marauder.
Perfect. And Fred, that wasn't funny. For a good time, call Agent Olan.
8675309.
No.
So, Lou, what have you been up to over the last week?
Wow, what a segue from that hollow call to me. Jeez. Anyway. Oh, remember last week how I said I was probably going to outfit my Bounty Hunter Power Tech in New Gear? Well, I did. I actually went and dropped all of, most of my other characters who did the bounty contract stuff. I actually dumped all their completed contracts into legacy storage. So thank goodness for that, at least. We're going to have to mail it. And right now, so now my Power Tech is just sporting most of the contract armor. That initial set. Well, except for the headpiece. Because I didn't realize that I totally forgot to read the faction level for that, and it has to be a champion. I'm at hero status. I'm halfway through hero status. And I'm all out of tokens, all my characters. I'm like, damn it. Next time. Next time, damn you, I'll get it. I almost bought and caved in the Bounty Broker Association, that cowboy hat they have there.
Who were you going to buy it for?
Well, this was going to be for my Bounty Hunter. Because right now my Bounty Hunter is wearing the initial hat the class gets, which is kind of like that turban-looking hybrid thing that they wear.
That thing is awful.
Right, but then I realized, once
bad.
once I did the actual preview of how the gear looked, how the cowboy hat looked, as opposed to what I'm wearing now, I'm like, you know what? I think I'll stick with the initial look. Because at least that I could believe, yeah, that's heavy armor, as opposed to, how is a future Stetson being passed off as heavy armor? It's going to take a hit, or never mind, suspension of belief. But for what I wanted for the look, I was like, I'll stick with the original headpiece, because that works. I'll deal with it for now. And if now I actually have her on Nar Shaddaa, and she is on the initial story quest there, and she started to pick up the initial planet quests that are there, like the ones that are in the spaceport, and I'm trying to do those right now. And remember from last week, what I was doing is that, remember I mentioned how all my characters of all this time I've never actually done the HK51 quest in earnest? Well, alright, I'm finally getting around to doing it. I mean, I am now beginning to get everyone's favorite assassin droid on all my max level characters. So I'm going to be doing this for a while, and because I'm a unashamed alcoholic. And I started with my operative as usual, and as of now she has 5 out of the 7 parts. I just need the 2 parts that you need to get from the flashpoints, the hard mode flashpoints, which is I think the first one of them you get from hard mode False Emperor, and then the second one from hard mode Foundry. So I've got those 2 left outstanding. And as of now, my Marauder, my Sorcerer, and my Sentinel have 3 parts each. And as we all know, those who've done the quest, you know how, painful it can be to search for those parts. Especially if you're by yourself, because I did ask for a while, hey, anyone going for the HK51 parts? Anyone?
Bueller.
Yeah, Bueller.
There's that cricket noise.
Yeah, and it's like, okay. And you know what's really funny is the fact that despite all that, even though no one helped me in all these zones looking for these parts, when I finally announced, hey, yeah, I found a part, guess what? Now all the locusts come out of the woodwork. Like, oh, here they are. It's like, oh, you selfish SOBs. You didn't want to help look, but the moment you asked, I put the announcement, oh yeah, I'm in the 5 meters apart. Now I had, this is especially true on, especially on Droman Kaz. I was like, okay, hey, I'm within 5 meters apart. Meanwhile, after half an hour searching and no one helping, wanted to help out or wanted to group up to search for the parts, guess what? Not even 20 seconds later, I've got freaking 4 level 55s on me. And 2 of the people ask me, hey, where are you?
Oh yeah, nobody wants to help you find it, but as soon as you uncover it, they all want to pick it up.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, oh great, cool, thanks man. Yeah, thanks for nothing, jerk.
That's why when Paige and I did that quest, we didn't tell anybody when we uncovered it.
We're selfish.
Well, I mean, I can understand people not wanting to help, but it's like at this point, yeah, I'm getting to the point where if I'm doing this, when I'm picking up on this quest again, I'm just gonna keep it to myself. I'm just gonna go around and say, "Hey, anyone want to group up, search for HK51 parts?" No. All right, screw it. I find it. That's cool. If not, I gave you a shot. Didn't want to help, so whatever.
Yeah, if you don't want to help, you don't get the reward.
Yeah, I just let it rot or let it go away. But
no handouts for you.
Yeah, but after I did most of this on on Saturday and some parts on Sunday, and after a while, it does get to you, so I stopped. So I'm giving myself a break because with all these alts that I have, and I'm working on the same quest. It's literally okay. I get this one part, go on to the next planet, go on to the next planet. Need a break, switch characters. Go to this planet, go to this planet, this planet. All right, stop. Just for variety's sake. So I'll probably start picking up again either tomorrow or Wednesday onward. I'll start picking up the quest, the other parts for my other characters. I need the initial 5 because I want to bring them all at least in line, so that they all have at least 5 parts, and just need the 2 from each flashpoint. So they're all on the same same page.
So wait, how many characters are you doing this on?
At least 6.
Oh my lord!
Wow.
And then you're like, it gets a little tedious. Little?
It does get a little tedious. So
it gets a little tedious, guys.
That's why I stopped.
Just a little, though.
Man.
And it would be 7, but I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this, my trooper. I'm already doing it at 6. I'm not going for 7. No, I can't. No, not now.
I did it one time on Jedi Covenant on my operative with Paige's assassin, and after that, every character that got HK from that point, I just unlocked him with cartel coins.
That's right. That's my life. I can't do that again.
It's a long quest chain.
Yeah, and I know it'll probably help if I just focused on one character and did it, especially my operative, and just unlocked it for the rest of my legacy through the cartel market. But it's like, I want to do the quest. I actually want to do the quest line. My characters.
Well, I tell you what, man, one of the most badass cutscenes in the game comes at the very end of it when you actually get to see your HK come down and be given to you.
Exactly. I mean, I know when they first teased it, when HK51 first came out, and they had that little teaser video. Yeah, I remember seeing that little glimpse they showed of us, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I actually can't wait to actually see this for real.
It's pretty much exactly what happens in that cutscene. You watch him come down, get reactivated, and then he says, like, "Greetings, Master," or something. And it's very empowering after you went through that whole quest chain to get him.
And he instantly recognizes you as, yep, I answer to you. That's right. I went to all this trouble. Don't you worry. I'll take good care of you. And as we mentioned before, actually before the show, I'm trying to remember where I read this on the forums, but I know that one of the flashpoints to get one of the parts, I believe False Emperor, those on YouTube or Twitch, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I also heard that the part could drop, if you did False Emperor on story mode. So I'm wondering if that's changed or not, because I haven't read anything on the forum, so I'm not sure, because then otherwise I'll just pug it on hard mode and go from there.
Well, we already told you, Lou, we'd do it with you on hard mode.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know your schedule's on. I don't want to impose, so.
We'll decide
like
if you're
this.
imposing.
During the daytime, we work, and then every night, we have nothing going on.
Okay,
except
speak for
on
yourself.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Speak for yourself.
Shh.
All right, then I'll take my issues too then for Foundry as well, because I know Foundry you definitely have to do on hard mode to get that part. And in keeping, with again trying to build another legacy on Shadowlands, I created my first Republic character on there as a counterpart to my Sith character that I use for our leveling group. So I created a smuggler, and the reason why I wanted a smuggler is because I have a smuggler character in Jedi Covenant, but I made her a gunslinger, so I have her going pure DPS mode. So this one, I actually want to do and choose the advanced class of make her a scoundrel, and I want to see how this class plays out, how this AC works and stuff. So I should be, hopefully, because me personally, I find the gunslinger fun because I'm used to being the cover mechanic. I know Fred doesn't. You're no fan of that. Me, since I played on my operative for so long, and I've also got a sniper. For me, the cover mechanic, it's like second nature. It's instinct now.
Well, when I made my first agent that ended up becoming my operative, I was a fan of cover for about the first 8 levels. And then probably for the last couple on Hutta, I'm like, all right, cover sucks. I'm not using this anymore. And then when it came time to pick my advanced class, it's like, oh, you could be a sniper and have to hide behind cover at all times, put up your own cover, have most of your powerful abilities require cover, or you could be an operative and just not even care about cover. And I'm like, operative it is.
Yeah, my operative, if I always use cover, I always split between either actually using the cover, if it was available, or just dropping a crouch. Depending on how fast I wanted to go through the content, or depending on, what my time was for that night, for my game time. I was like, you know what? If I got going to cover, I'll just use crouch. Just have at it.
Man, I took my operative, I went healer with him, well, like a healing hybrid right off the bat, and from level 10 to 55, I've never used cover. And he does just fine. I can solo content with him. I can group up with Page's Assassin, and I can heal an entire group effortlessly, and I never need to use cover.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I've stopped using cover for a while, so it's just crouch, and that usually works. Even a little damage shield we get. To me that helps too. And quite honestly, nothing. If I'm just doing regular PvE content, nothing lives long enough. For me to get worried about either my health or Scorpio. So, it should be interesting. And since Paige mentioned before, she has tons of schematics on Jedi Covenant. I am also about to start actually taking crafting seriously in SWTOR, because that is one aspect in MMOs that I totally care less about. Is crafting. I mean, I understand it's there. I mean, I have no problems with it. It's just not for me. It's just one mechanic in every MMO that I play that I don't particularly care for. I mean, I'll support it, because in every game I play, if I'm in a guild, I will be your gatherer. Especially if there are MMOs out there that don't restrict you to only having you can only have 2 gathering skills. No, if it allows you to have all of them, guess what? I'll do them all.
Are you talking about ESO?
Well, not only that, so EverQuest, too, other MMOs out there that don't restrict you like that. Because in the normal course of adventuring, you're going to see, ore, you're going to see wood, you're going to see plants, flowers, anything out there that can be, gathered as a resource. A couple of seconds, boom, you got it. Move on to, keep continuing your quests. So, and then I had no problem just doling it out to whatever guild craft is needed. So what I'm going to do is that my operative, since she's a biochemist, but she's at level 20 biochemistry, I'm probably just going to crack down and just start working on it, and just get her up to that point. Just max it out, because I do want to experience all the aspects of SWTOR, and I know that's one. Not that I'm dreading. It's just, one thing I don't like doing in any game I play is crafting. So, but you know what? The game deserves for me to actually give crafting a shot, because I don't think it's that hard. From what I've seen, how it works, mechanics, it's not that hard. Just the real pain, as always in any game, is just getting the materials to work with it. So
it's not even so much the materials. The pain with SWTOR crafting is, in a normal game like WoW, when you have your bag full of materials, you can just sit there and just auto craft that stuff pretty much instantly and raise up your trade skill one right after another. But in SWTOR, as you get your crafting higher and higher, it's a waiting game. You're waiting on your companions to come back with each individual item you told them to craft and get your skill ups that way.
Oh, so you figured now it's going to take, for a level 30 item, it's going to take them at least 20 minutes for them to craft it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Basically, if your bag was filled with every single crafting material you would need, it would still take you hours to max out your trade skill.
Oh, well.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do support trade skills in SWTOR, especially now that they're doing things like Conquest, where you can use your trade skills to build up Conquest points. Mm-hmm. So they're giving crafting a purpose again. I just wish that they would give it the purpose that it was originally intended for.
Yeah, and that's one thing too, which is what I like Which is why I'm thinking, watching why I'm giving crafting a shot is because of what you just mentioned, Frank. Conquest, I know that when I do get around to joining a guild of my Imperial characters, I'm going to want to help contribute in all aspects that I can. And if one thing, I'll help at least in one way, and I'll help craft as much as I can to help my guild, for conquest points.
Well, every little bit helps.
Indeed, and I hope so. And that pretty much wraps up my week for gameplay.
Though, Lou, at some point we're going to have to get around to doing that Freaky Friday challenge, and we're going to have you make like a body type 4 male consular, and you're going to have to make all dark side decisions.
See, I wouldn't mind a body type 4 male, but consular, so far, my consular, I do have consular alts in the game, but they're solo level because I find this story with a consular not so...
Oh, but trust me, Lou, I can tell you firsthand from playing Nosh, it's slightly better when you go dark side. Just watching how offended every single person in the Jedi Order gets with every decision you make, because you're supposed to be this librarian guy.
Librarian.
Everybody looks up to.
It's like a Noah Wiley series from the 90s, Librarian.
Come on. They had Nolan North voice the male.
I like Nolan North. He's in a show that I watched, and every time I see him, I just kind of laugh. I'm like, no.
And my consular, the first part of his name, my original one, was Zolm. So Paige started calling him Zolman North.
I did.
Zolman North.
I'm not sorry.
It was terrible. But anyway, so what I did in the last week. Today, before we actually recorded the show, I had a really, really, really horrible bug happen with the game.
Really?
Yes, really.
Really?
Twice in a row, I got into the game, and when I was on character select, I would hit the button to zone into the game and play my character, and my computer just completely turned off instantly.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so I restarted, I got back into the game, and then I'm running around on Alderaan, just moving across the snow, and it did it a second time.
And this happened just today, it happened, right?
Yeah, just today. Really weird, first time that's ever happened, and second time back-to-back. It had to be SWTOR related.
Yeah, because funny you mention that, because one thing I didn't mention is the fact that it actually happened to me on Saturday morning. Because initially what I did was, when I was actually getting all my contracts together, I was actually moving all my characters to the strongholds. Moving all my Republic characters to the Republic stronghold, moving all my Imperial characters to the Imperial stronghold. And so I was constantly hopping back and forth between characters. And by the fifth switch of characters, my game completely crashed. Nothing. SWTOR disappeared off my taskbar, everything.
Yeah, but this wasn't even just SWTOR going away. Like, my entire computer was just turned off.
Wow.
Like, as if I had held the power button in for 5 seconds. Like, it was just off. And there was no way that I was bumping the power button or anything, because my tower has the power button on the top. So it's not like my knee was pressing it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So just something weird was glitching with the game, and it was just shutting the whole computer down. Because after that, I got back into the game, and it just played it like normal. Nothing weird happened. It just, some kind of weird bug probably got introduced in the last patch, because I didn't have any issues like that at all before.
You see, and now that you mention that, I'll probably go look in the tech support area of the forum to see if anyone else had that issue pop up, because that is pretty weird. I wouldn't be alarmed, but if it does happen again, I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
I did a little bit of searching on my own, and the only people I saw talking about it was after patch 1.2, so it's been a long time since anyone else mentioned it. But, it was just weird. I've never had anything like that happen before. And I was up playing the game for the majority of last night and didn't have any issues like that. Just today, it happened twice within 10 minutes of each other. But then I managed to play for an hour and a half after that and didn't have it happen again. So I don't know.
Well, here's to it not happening again, knock on wood.
Well, my Sith Assassin is now up to level 23. I have completely finished Balmora.
Yay!
Thank God.
Yes.
And Now I can tell you exactly why I hate this planet.
I love that you're going to tell us that when our leveling group is on Balmora. Look, I hate this place. Well, guess what? You're going to be there for a while.
Well,
Sorry about your luck, Cupcake.
first things first. I've made an observation since I've played through Balmora, both Imperial and Republic side. Imperial Balmora is confusing as hell because you get to a point where you have quests on both the left and right side of the map.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure out which side you need to go to, because if you go to the wrong side first, you're going to end up back over there later on. Which, if anybody's curious, when this point actually comes, you need to go to the left. Because the last area that you go to on Imperial Balmora is in the right.
Yes, that should be the arms factory. Balmora Arms Factory.
Yes. But when it's been a long time since you've been on Balmora, or if it's your first time on Balmora, you're looking at the map and you're like, well, wait, I got green on both extreme sides of the map. Which one do I go to?
Right, you're right. And I know for Imperial, yeah, you're going to have stuff out in the east and the west, but then there'll also come a point where you're going to have quests in the east, west, and the south part of the map. And
Yes.
the way the story's written, it's like it's constantly. It's like doing a run and fetch quests in old MMO, old MMOs, where it's like, well, I need you to go to point A and then point B and then point C. Oh, I know you were at point A a little while ago, but could you go back there again? Like, why? I was just there.
Yes, exactly. But it's really annoying when you go and you clear out an entire area, and then you think you're done there, and you go to the other area, and you clear that out, but your class quest is over there. And then, okay, now you've caught your class quest up, but your class quest is sending you back to that area you just cleared first because you didn't know you were going to be going there. That's what's annoying about it. And Republic Balmora does not do this. Republic Balmora, your quests are always in the same area. It transitions you very nicely from area to area. Which I'm going to pay closer attention when I actually get to Terrace to see if there's any disparity between the factions like that again. Because it's going to be interesting because, they kind of replace each other from faction to faction.
Right, what would be a good test for that? Probably Alderaan. Because Alderaan it probably is well, is pretty spaced out.
Yeah.
That might be a good good test bed to work with. That or maybe even Pasavis maybe? Hoth? See the same flow continuity works there too.
Yeah, but see, with Balmora and Terrace specifically, those, even though both factions go to those planets, they're never on the planet at the same time. So it's interesting when you do the quests on Balmora for the Republic is conquering Balmora and taking it over. And in Imperial Balmora, the Empire already controls the planet. So you're going from quest hub to quest hub, but for some reason, when they wrote the Imperial story, it just splits to both far extremes of the planet. And when you do it as the Republic, because you're taking over the planet, you're strategically moving from area to area, so all the quests stay together.
Right, so that makes sense.
Yeah, you never end up with a point where you gotta guess which direction you need to go. And I just find it transitions a lot better that way. I was able to solo most of the heroics while I was on the planet, except 2 of them. And I tried doing those 2 with both Kemval and Treek, and it was not successful at all, because in those 2 I had to kill champion mobs, and I could only get them about a third of the way did myself, because they were heroic 4s. Though one interesting thing that I did notice is the heroic quests that I was able to solo would offer me orange pieces that actually looked pretty cool. And the ones that I couldn't solo would only offer me blue pieces of crap and some planetary comms. So
Yes.
So you came out ahead.
I think at some point, though, BioWare needs to reevaluate these planetary heroics and see if the risk and reward is really matching up.
Yeah, you're right, because I know one of my playthroughs on my Republic Trooper, I had noticed that a lot of the heroics on Balmora, the Trooper give a lot of the armor pieces, like a headpiece, chest piece, legs, and I think boots or maybe wrists. I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head. But in other heroics, gave you blue items, It's like, wait a minute, you want me to do a heroic 4 and all I'm going to get is a blue version of boots? Heck no, it's not worth it. You're right, because I think that's... I don't think that's just specific to Balmora. I think that happens a lot in all the planets. To where you have some ridiculous quest out there if you're doing it at level, and all you get is a blue item as opposed to an orange piece of armor.
Yeah. And that seems to be a recurring problem from planet to planet. And that's something that I think that they really should revisit at some point. Even if they're just going to keep the rewards basically the same, turn those blues into oranges. Then people can use those pieces of armor, because it shouldn't be hard for them to change a blue item into an orange.
No, yeah, totally. I'm with you on that, but at this point, do you think they will? Do you think they'll go that far back?
I don't know, man. World of Warcraft took an entire expansion just to revamp the vanilla world. Doesn't seem like it'd be a bad thing for them to go back and reevaluate the lower level game and make sure it's fair and balanced.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's something that could be done maybe after the next one drops, after 3.0. I don't think it would be unfair for the player base to ask BioWare to say, hey, you know what? Now that you dropped 3.0 on us, maybe go back and reevaluate, like you just said, reevaluate and tune up all the quests again. You know, make sure they're all in line with what you've got going on for the rest of the game. Because it's terrible to see, I guess, what's the phrase I'm looking for? A disjointed game to where it's like, when you know the experience is this here, here, and here, and then all of a sudden here. You know, there's no smooth flow. There's no smooth progression to say, hey, you know what? I went from Balmora, I went to Terra, I did this, this, and this, and this is exactly how I tracked myself.
Yeah. I think that it would benefit them in the long run if they were to revisit the lower level game at some point, because they've even said fairly recently that story content is what's played the most in this game. And I don't think it would hurt them to go back and polish some of the low level story areas.
Mm-hmm. And make it even that much better, to make it more of a hook. You know, and you will probably take those free-to-play players and make them subscribe, you know, because now they have a vested interest.
Or maybe add a new quest chain here and there to change it up for people that are leveling through those planets for the 80th time.
Like me.
And the other sounds like Fred doesn't like a planet. Maybe it's Balmora.
The other thing that I've been doing lately is taking a serious look at my assassin's overall appearance and trying to figure out what I want him to be wearing when he gets to higher levels. I've been getting some pretty cool oranges by soloing heroics, and the challenge is that he is a Miraluka, so I have to keep him in an outfit that looks good with his mask and all that. And currently I've been using an electro staff on him, which I managed to pick up on the GTN for like 1,000 credits. It was a complete steal. It's an orange. But eventually I want to get him a lightsaber. And I've been looking at the different double-bladed lightsabers that are available to me. And there's some really cool ones on the GTN that come out of the cartel market. But for some reason, I feel compelled to shy away from those cartel market weapons a lot of times. I guess because I feel like so many people would be using them and not a whole lot of people use the vanilla weapons anymore. But one thing that I did notice is when you look at the vanilla lightsabers that were in the game, and then you look at the more recent ones that were added in the cartel market, with double-bladed lightsabers specifically, they position them differently on your character's side. The ones that are vanilla in the game are raised up a little bit past the character's belt, like a regular one-handed lightsaber, and the ones that have been added recently, including the ones from the Nar Shaddaa Casino event, they are under your character's belt, so they hang way down your character's leg when they're sheathed. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I definitely know what you're talking about in terms of the saber looks. I know for all my characters, my force using characters at least, I don't use any of the cartel market sabers at all, because quite honestly, I don't like the look of them. I actually prefer the actual sabers that we have available either through quests or even from the equipment vendors. You know, I've actually gone out and farmed content just to get those combinations, just so I can buy those sabers, because I like the way those look, especially the ones that I chose for my Sentinel and found my Marauder.
Yes, but I feel like a lot of the vanilla one-handed lightsabers by far exceed the vanilla double-bladed lightsabers.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, because I know one of the double-bladed lightsabers on the cartel market. The way it looks like a giant. It's like someone took like the kiddie shovels you get with the pail when you go to the beach and just stuck them on there, because like the the business end of the saber, or the emitter end, has, for some strange reason, it's like it's got a shovel spade attachment to it, to where it makes the end of the saber like another 4 or 5 inches longer. It's like, why would you do that?
Can cut you down and then dig your grave.
I mean, at some parts I get it, but it's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's like a third of your blade is useless because the blade's not exposed to do any damage.
Well, you do have a good point. There have been a couple of lightsabers, though, that were added fairly recently to the cartel market that actually look like they could have been vanilla SWTOR art. Like, they're not overly fancy, they don't have glowing parts, they just look like lightsabers, the way they were constructed. Some of them are super shiny, too, for some reason, which just doesn't look like any other lightsaber that was in the game. Like, when I equip a weapon, I don't want people to look at it and just know that that was bought with real-life money. I want people to look at it and be like, I wonder where that drops.
Right, that's a cool-looking weapon. Where did you get that, man?
It could just be me, though. But for the most part, I try to steer away from cartel market items, unless it is a wrist slot or a belt slot, because they're so hard to find in oranges without using the cartel market.
Yeah, they are a pain in the ass. However, I admit, though, I did cave in and buy a couple of the weapons off the market, but they weren't sabers, though. They were that compact sniper rifle, which my snipers are using. And then I did buy that cowboy 6-shooter.
Is that compact sniper rifle still bugged so the scope just keeps going in and out while your character's holding it?
Not that I've noticed. I haven't played any of my snipers the past week or so I haven't seen if that bug's gone away or not, but I know before it was.
I ended up getting my sniper that I don't play because of the cover mechanic that I hate. I still managed to get him one of those Kingpin sniper rifles from the Narsadok Casino event. Mm-hmm. And every time he pulls it out, you actually see the clip spin around and go up into the gun.
No. Oh my god.
It's pretty awesome. It's a really cool looking weapon.
Nice.
I mean, it's not as cool as the Tommy gun blaster rifle.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's still really cool. And
I forgot how cool
I
it
was
was.
happy with it. Yeah. I'm also bummed out that I discovered that my favorite robe appearance in the game for my Inquisitor is still bugged, because way back when I made my first Inquisitor, I actually bug reported this, because when you wear this particular robe, which is the same robe graphic that the level 20 PvP armor has, with the hood up, anytime you go into your combat animation where your character like hunches down and is holding their double-bladed lightsaber out, their head clips through the back of the hood. You can actually see the entire crown of the head sticking through it. It's horrible. It's actually jarring enough that I can't use that robe, even though I love the way it looks.
You went out and bought another one to completely replace it. Oh, man.
Yes. I was using the... Funny story. I was using that robe on my Ratataki Inquisitor for the longest time. And I never noticed that his head did this because the robe was gray and so is his skin.
Oh,
and then
nice.
As soon as I made my second Inquisitor and got him the same robe, I'm like, wait a minute, my head's sticking through that. And then I got on the Ratataki and looked real close. And then after I realized that his head did that as well, I just couldn't play him in that robe anymore. Even though I'd never noticed this before, as soon as I realized it was a problem, that robe had to go. So what I ended up finding for my Inquisitor for the time being is I made him an entire set of the Dark Apprentice's armor, which is that robe graphic, but it actually has the hood down, so it's fine. And then when I did a quest, I got him that same chest piece that your sorcerer is wearing, the one with it has like the neck piece that comes up around the neck, like a turtleneck almost.
Right, yep.
The hood.
Yeah.
But
It's a turtleneck. It's brisk outside, guys. You need that turtleneck.
But the one that I got isn't purple. It's actually white and black, so it looks decent. Or gray and black, something like that. So it would look fine on a male character. It's just really weird when you see a character wearing a hood and then they got that little Miraluka mask thing dangling underneath it. It's like, you cold, man?
You okay?
Just imagine if you played a Miraluka bounty hunter with that turban.
Oh,
What's that?
God.
How does that even work?
I don't even want to know.
I hear you somewhere over there. Pew, pew, pew.
You got to use the force.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's how that works, I'm pretty sure. And I also broke down and bought the Corsac electric baton for Kemval, because I got sick of him using the same axe that I give to every Kemval and Broodmark that my characters play with. And he actually has a customization, so little glowy parts inside of Kemval are orange, so it kind of matches the baton. Looks pretty awesome. And now, I'm about to start Nar Shaddaa. My biochem is over 200, and I've started making blue implants for myself in Kemval, which I can't use until level 25, but they're going to be in my bag for when I get there. And in checking the GTN for earpieces for both myself and Kemval, but mainly Kemval because his slot was completely empty, I found that the level 19 blue earpieces were selling for over 15k, while the level 19 greens were only 1k. Can you guess which one I bought?
Yep.
And to me, it's ridiculous that level 19 blues are selling for more than the level 30 and higher blues, and that there's 14k difference between the green and blues at level 19. I personally would never spend that amount of credits on an item for that low of a level. But somebody must, or the prices wouldn't be that high.
That's right.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Like, that's one thing I noticed, well, at least on Jedi Covenant, especially my lower-level alts. I mean, I always do my best to try and get orange gear for them, but then realizing, wow, I'm lucky that I have so many max-level characters that have money, because if I was just starting out as a complete new person in the game, I'd be like, how in the hell am I supposed to pay for this? And I don't want to hear just keep doing quests. Well, you know what, buddy? The quest payout doesn't match what people are asking for in GTN for a mod, for an armoring, and for an enhancement. It's like, I think one of my characters, I think in my, on my consular, I got an orange chest piece, and it's like, all right, cool, let me see what's out there for mods, to get all the 3 pieces for it. Wow. The amount they're asking for a level friggin' 15, or whatever, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was looking at, but for that amount of money, I thought I was paying for a level 30 or level 40's character improvements. Not a character in their teens. Like, this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then we're on to what I've done. Well, first, I've done the Black Hole dailies every single day on my Guardian because I need to have as much money as possible on Shadowlands. Like, we're talking poverty mode over there right now. But I'm also so lazy that I don't want to leave the Black Hole, so I just do those dailies and then I log out.
You could just go back to the spaceport and just find that priority transport terminal.
That's doing too much, Lou. That's doing too much.
Don't even have to go to the spaceport. As soon as you walk out of the Black Hole hub, there's one of those transport things right there to take me to the next place. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to go to Elam? Do you want to go to Section X? Do you want to?
No, I just want them to put a cantina right in the corner here. Let me camp out. But no, they don't even put a cantina there, so I'm forced to camp out in a non-rest area because I'm that lazy, Lou.
Oh my god!
You're saying that you're being forced, but it's something that you're choosing.
Hey, if they can't put up a little jukebox and give me a rest area, I'm being forced. Okay, but so I've done those dailies pretty much every day just to stockpile some credits over there. And our leveling group. is on Balmora.
Oh,
Yay! Fred's so happy.
we need to finish that planet quickly.
And now my Juggernaut is level 21, over halfway to 22, and lose like 19 for some reason.
Yeah.
We're working through the Imperial Balmora now, and we need a few more levels before we can do the next Flashpoint. And hopefully we can wrap up Balmora quickly, and we don't have to linger on that planet for weeks and weeks, despite the fact that every time it looks like it's completed, another quest pops up.
Oh, no.
Surprise!
Bonus series, no.
And then just briefly to recap what Paige was saying, I got my Sorcerer on Jedi Covenant up to level 33, playing with her power tech, and we did a heroic 4, and she did a pretty good job at tanking.
Awesome.
Surprisingly.
Oh.
Ooh, shots fired.
Don't be that way. When we first walked up to that area, he's
And
like,
we're
"Hey,
out of time.
No, he goes, he's the healer, okay?" He face pulls and goes, "Hey, this is a heroic 4." I'm like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" I had to go over there and like, "Oh my god, blow up everything, save his life."
She's like, "You actually need to let me tank this." Although, funny story, on this Sorcerer, I decided to actually team up with Andronicus, one of the companions that I've never actually used before. I've had him, he just stands there on the ship looking all Rackle Plague infected on my main Sorcerer. My assassin. But this time I decided I'm going to give him a go because I'm teamed up with the power tech that's a tank, so I don't need Chemval. So I actually have an opportunity that I can use one of my DPS characters. So I decided I was going to give Andronicus a go. Well, the thing about that is, when you're the healer, even though the tank in your group is attacking, Andronicus just wants to stand there because you're not attacking anything, even if you are healing her.
Yeah.
So I actually had to make it so I can just tab target all of the enemies real quick and put my instant dot on them real fast so that Andronicus will actually get involved in the fight. But once he started getting involved in the fight, Andronicus is a complete badass when it comes to DPS. Dude has grenades and everything. Which I never knew any of this because I've never used him before. And he loves that I'm just this dark side jerk killing everybody from House Organa. It's amazing. And the most affection you ever seem to lose with him is just 1 point. I'm not one of those people that every time I lose 1 point, I just hit the escape button and start over. I just roll with it.
You know what? Speak for yourself, because every time I talk to Andronicus, I lose a bunch of points because I don't want to be his girlfriend.
That's the benefit of being a male character and teaming up with a male DPS. Don't feel bad, though, because I'm sure once I get Ashara, she's just going to hate everything that I do and everything I stand for. Lou, so what do we have coming up next, man?
And coming up next, well, we're going to touch upon the teaser for Expansion 3.0. And we're going to speculate some of our thoughts. So, if you folks have had a chance to go to the site, you'll see a little video link there. Or I think it's on the main page too. Okay, and that stream, included a shot or some views of what what people believe, or I think what people are trying to believe is actually Revan. So,
I would normally include the media in the show, but this particular video, the credits at the beginning and end are longer than the actual thing. So.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but you're right.
I'm not going to bother. We're just going to tell you, basically, it shows a little video where you see, I'm not going to say that it is Revan, but it is somebody in a set of armor that very much resembles Revan, and then they pull out a purple-bladed lightsaber while they have another lightsaber hanging on their hip, and it says, "A deadly force returns," is the text that pops up. But that's the entire thing. Like, it's literally just a little blurb. You see somebody in Revan armor turn around. Their eyes start glowing red under the mask. Well, one eye does. And then they pull out a purple-bladed lightsaber. And then it's over. And then it's spamming SWTOR propaganda.
I'd like to say two things. When I was reviewing the notes before the show, I looked at this video, and I was like, is that it? Because I thought I had, like, stopped paying attention or I missed something. I'd, like, watch it again. Nope. Yeah, that was it. Second thing, purple is my Inquisitor's color, so whoever that is, Revan or not, you're going to have to change your lightsaber crystal, okay?
Okay.
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 Okay, so there's not a lot to go on here, but, you know, this is SWTOR, so this is pretty much the beefiest news we've had in weeks. And so I went through the forums, and I got a few bullet points from the conversation that the players were having on the official forums after this teaser was leaked. And I will say most of the players that were replying in this thread were saying that this is not a teaser at all, because anybody that completed the new Rakata Prime Flashpoint would know that Revan is back. So they basically said that this trailer gives us no new information and it's not really a teaser. But that said, the other things that were being discussed, on the latest episode of UtiniCast, they clarified that the expansion abbreviation is not SOE, but it is SOR. Any idea what that might stand for, Lou?
Well, I know earlier on, I'll be actually pre-show, we were talking about this. And, you know, for those who've done the Imperial side stories, you know that when you're on Dromund Kaas, you'll actually go and meet the Revanites. And you do stuff for them and become a Revanite yourself, if, you know, once you do that quest. So, could it be, maybe it stands for Shadows of Revan? I don't know. I mean, I would say Sons of Revan because, well, to be politically correct, you know, there are, you know, men and women in the Revanites. So yeah, maybe Shadows of Revan, or maybe if they do, you know, since Rakata Prime, that Flashpoint, yeah, he does come back. Maybe it's time for him to return to the forefront. Okay, maybe again become another instrument for the Emperor to use to begin, you know, to start afresh again the conquest of the galaxy. At least that's my initial thought for SOR. Or, you know, as Jay said in chat, Scourge of Revan. You know,
For some reason, I'm just thinking that R is Rakata something, just because they named the flashpoints that and everything. It just seems like that R is Rakata instead of Revan. I don't know. I could be wrong. I probably am.
Saiyans of Rakata?
Son of a Rakata! No.
I was kind of thinking in the same vein that Pages that the R stands for Rakata because of Rakata Prime.
Okay. Why would, you know, maybe Rakata Prime becomes a new zone, entire zone as opposed to just a flashpoint, or not. You know, maybe it becomes a new area for us to question.
Can't even begin to speculate what the S and O would stand for, though. O is probably of.
Right. But again, you know, this is all just speculation anyway, based on what we've been given. Okay, and I myself, I haven't done the Rakata Prime Flashpoint yet, so I'm not going to venture as to what I'm trying to associate something like that, but I'm just going off of what I remember from playing the KOTOR games. Okay, and how Rakata Prime is linked in those games. So.
Oh, I got it, Lou. Revan has returned as an alien trafficker, and he's selling old Rakata.
Selling old Rakata.
The entire expansion is just going to be a little stand on the side of the road on Tatooine, where Revan will sell you an old Rakata. Okay, so from the other podcasts I've listened to, it has been suggested that it might not be Revan in the video, but it could be an imposter. One person actually suggested on the forums that it could be the Emperor in Revan's body. What do you think, Lou?
Okay. That's possible. Because, spoiler alert, folks, if you haven't played the Jedi Knight story. Fast forward. Alright, we all know the Jedi Knight takes on the Emperor. Okay. And wins, quote unquote.
What?
So...
I'm sorry, I repressed that because the Jedi wins.
So here's my take on it. Okay, we also know that from, again, another spoiler if you haven't played the Inquisitor line. Okay, with the ability for mind consciousness transference. Okay, apparently because remember, Zash wanted to do that to you initially if you were her apprentice. Okay? But you turn the tables on her.
Well, Kimball does.
Well, yeah, Ken Ball does, but the fact that it's there and it's possible, and it's not anything new in the Star Wars universe overall. Okay, because the same thing happens where when you go to the EU, okay, the clones, especially those people who have access to the back then not the Camino clone cylinders technology, but the other technology, the other source of clone, the Sparty technology, or the Sparty cloning chambers.
This is Sparty!
It's not as effective as Camino, but it takes a little longer, but it's just, it works just as well. To where the clone that's there pretty much has to be, groomed. Meaning it's got to be flash imprinted. In the Star Wars universe, those clones will be flash imprinted, meaning they'll have, images and stuff fed directly into their brains, into their minds.
Star Killer?
Yeah. Kind of like that. Similar to that. So to me, I think that could be possible to where maybe the Emperor prepared himself a clone body. Okay? Because apparently, remember, we don't know how old the Camino... Yeah, we first see the Caminoans in Attack of the Clones in Episode 2. But we also never really flesh out how old the civilization is and how long they've been cloning.
Well, hold on, though. Remember, it does say that when... spoiler if you're not familiar with the Revan story here, but when Revan is in that tank being held prisoner by the Empire, his mind is supposed to be linked with the Emperor's. So what if when the Jedi Knight cut down the Emperor, he just put his entire being into Revan?
Right, and to me that could be perfectly reasonable to use for a storyline. Is the fact that Revan's been in that cult tank for so long and he's been beaten up, I guess mentally, by the most powerful Sith in the galaxy, the Emperor. Maybe Revan's reached the point to where he can't take it anymore, and he just gives in.
So Revan is the new Emperor's voice.
Right. It's like the Emperor is a dominant personality in that body. So Revan's still there, so to speak, but for all intents and purposes, it's the Emperor.
Huh, that would be interesting.
Right, and as Kronos mentioned in the chat, I mean, remember what Spock did to McCoy at the end of Wrath of Khan?
SOR, Shadow of Revan. Shell of Revan.
Show. Well, even Shadow works, because, what happens if that's the case, then, Revan has become a shadow of himself. He's not as powerful as he once was. Because the Emperor is pretty much, if that's the case, and the Emperor is inhabiting his body, using him, to be his new self.
Well, then the only other point that we have in here to briefly touch on is people seem kind of upset that Revan is involved again. And I think for some people that played through the KOTOR series, feel that BioWare might be treading on some sacred ground if they make Revan into a bad guy that the players ultimately end up killing. And other people are just feeling like Revan has been oversaturated in this game.
I don't think I would like it if he could be killed, only because I like to see a Revan movie. Is that just me? I wouldn't like to see him killed. I don't like when they make one big, awful bad guy that you must all kill, because it kind of takes away something from one side of the game. If that is like the Emperor in Revan's body or whatever, it just I don't like it. It's like shooting ourselves in the foot. I like it when there are lots of bad guys that you need to focus on instead of this one terrible bad person that you must focus on for an entire expansion, because it feels like once you've killed that person, you're like, oh, well, what now?
Well, they really did set it up with this whole Emperor's voice thing so that the Republic or even the Empire could kill the Emperor numerous times and he could just keep coming back in another body. I'm sure everybody's going to love it when the Emperor eventually comes back as Kefis, who's been in just about every raid so far.
As far as this whole reusing Revan thing, I mean, he doesn't belong to a single game. You can do whatever they want with him. And for people to be upset about it, go cry somewhere else.
Well, essentially, the way some of these people feel, because Revan was the main protagonist that you played as in KOTOR 1, they feel kind of like how you would feel if down the road they made a sequel to SWTOR and we played it, and all of a sudden your character is the big bad guy that everybody's killing.
That would be so awesome. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's me. What's up?
But what if you played the character Lightside in the game?
I don't care. I just, like, they don't have the final say, people who played the other game, over what BioWare does with him in this game. I mean,
but this is the internet. People are going to cry.
I know. That's why I don't get on the internet.
Speaking of the internet page, what did you find on the internet for our weekly recommendation?
I do sign on the internet for this just because it's so much fun. For our Star Wars recommendation, I did want to say first, for those that are actually interested in getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I will be posting a link with a photo on the Facebook wall going forward. And I'm just so curious if anyone bought the Tauntaun, the rocking Tauntaun that we talked about last week. I know it was $500, but someone should have bought that thing. This week, I found something else on Etsy, and I would really love to get one of these for the ship. It's a Star Wars Yoda doormat, and it says, "Welcome, you are," and has a picture of his face on it. You can also add your own text and personalize it with your name if you'd like. And I'd like to know how people would personalize this doormat, so tweet it to me or put it on the Facebook wall, because I'd like to know what you'd have to say.
Well, first off, since this is the Old Republic era, who's Yoda?
It's a Star Wars recommendation of the week, not a SWTOR.
The Crimson Seabiscuithawk is SWTOR era. You cannot have this for our door.
Put it on my own ship. I don't need you.
And as a side note, Lou, how far did you get in the Consular story?
Let's see. I'm still in Coruscant, and I think I'm only level 14.
Okay. Well, I believe it's on Coruscant when you see this guy. And Paige, I know you've seen this because you have a shadow that's pretty high level. You gather up this datacron, and you get to see these former Jedi Masters. And one of them is whatever race Yoda is. But this dude talks normal.
Yeah.
So, which leads you to believe, what the heck was wrong with Yoda?
Maybe he had, what's that they mess up their words? Dyslexia? Maybe he had that. Don't make fun of
reading. Dyslexic people do not mispronounce things and put the end of their sentences at the beginning, unless he was reading cue cards that George Lucas was holding behind the scenes.
Right. So you're telling me George Lucas purposely sabotaged Frank Oz's lines during the whatever parts he filmed with Yoda?
All I'm saying is, when they put the same kind of creature that Yoda is in the game, and that one can talk normal, it makes Yoda seem like something was wrong with him. He should have expressed himself the exact same way that Yoda did.
Okay.
Because that leads some serious questions. Okay, Yoda obviously wasn't the first one of whatever Yoda was, but why does Yoda talk that way and the other ones don't?
As well, Kronos just mentioned in the chat, maybe Yoda was just old and senile.
But
he just lost capacity.
Yoda's younger in the prequels, and he isn't normal there.
No, but not much younger though. I mean,
Yeah.
he's still.
I mean,
Remember,
I feel like we're going to see a flashback where Yoda was dropped on his head as a little yodeling or something.
Yodeling?
Yodeling. Probably, because remember, in Jedi, Yoda admitted he was 900 years old, and it's only been 20 plus years since the fall of the Republic.
Yeah, he hasn't deteriorated that much.
He hasn't deteriorated that much.
He didn't lose his marbles because he can process coherent thought, and he guides Luke into becoming a Jedi. But they really made him look bad when they put a character that is the same race in anything, and that one can talk normal.
Whatever. I can't even look at him anymore without thinking about Miss Piggy. I'm sorry. I can't.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on before more of Star Wars gets crushed for me. All right, Lou. So why don't you go ahead and tell us all about, some more about the Kuat Drive Yards.
All right, and today's intelligence report is part 2 for the Kuat Drive Yards. Starship Builders Extraordinaire. And today we'll pick up with the Galactic Civil War. So, the Galactic Civil War. The schedule for the 4 Executor-class Star Dreadnoughts would be radically altered. as a result of the destruction of Death Star by the Rebel Alliance at Yavin. Executor at Fondor was finished only 6 months later, with the second ship, Lusankaya, completed shortly after. Lusankaya was promptly buried under the surface of Coruscant at the behest of Izan Isard. The other 2 ships were given to admirals personally chosen by Palpatine. With Executor devastating a number of Lactine depot rebel outposts, the Empire ordered an increase in production of these massive ships. Fondor continued to serve as an alternative construction site, but KDY built a majority of the ships in their own facilities, often rushing them out of dock mostly completed and sending them to smaller facilities for finishing work. This allowed a higher rate of production than otherwise possible, as there were a limited number of slipways capable of holding a ship the size of an Executor class. Besides Star Destroyers, Star Cruisers, Battle Cruisers, and Star Dreadnoughts, Kuat continued to receive huge orders for smaller capital vessels from the Empire. The Imperial Navy was augmenting its forces, and Kuat was the prime provider for the capital ships. New designs were created during this time to counter the actions of the rebels, such as the EF-76 Nebulon B escort frigate, the VT-49 Decimator, and Star Galleon, all designed as a reaction to rebel convoy raids. The company was known to cut costs by building individual modules for use on multiple ship designs. The command tower on the Acclamator class was an element commonly used on their small warship designs, and the iconic T-shaped towers used on the Imperial and Executive classes were also modular and used in many warship classes during the company's career. When Alderaan was destroyed by the Empire, Kuat recouped their losses by reusing systems meant for Alderaanian perimeter scout ships and orbital custom stations in the new battlecruiser production lines. And folks, you're going to love this part. Kuat of Kuat. Yes, that's correct. During the Galactic Civil War, Kuat Drive Yards was led by, guess, Kuat of Kuat, a technically minded aristocrat. I'm going to just abbreviate his name, folks. Kuat made every effort to keep KDY independent of the Empire. One of his greatest fears was nationalization, to the point where he believed that the Rebel Alliance was the better choice. Only pragmatism kept him loyal to the Empire, as Palpatine would quickly crush any attempt by Kuat to join the Alliance. Pragmatism also guided many of the decisions made by Kuat during his tenure as head of the company. Shortly after the Battle of Yavin, KDY was under siege from a number of directions. Emperor Palpatine was suspicious of Kuat's motives in refusing to bid on the Death Star project. The reason was that the Death Star could potentially replace a large number of capital warships, which would result in a severe decrease in profits to KDY. Can't have that happen. Prince Izor of Black Sun was making a play for control of KDY itself, and the Rebel Alliance had recently made a surprise assault on the shipyard facilities to draw Imperial ships away from Frisia. Kuat managed to respond to all the threats. He placated Palpatine by having KDY absorb an unplanned cost overrun in a series of battlecruisers, and he set into motion a plan that would implicate Xizor in the death of Owen and Beru Lars, hopefully setting the rebels and Black Sun against each other. This plan failed, however, when the evidence fell into the hands of Boba Fett, along with the Kuati noble Katil of Kulvult. Kuat attempted to kill Boba Fett to destroy the evidence, which was useless after the death of Xizor and could lead back to Kuat. Kuat also had to react to a political play by the other Meridian families of Kuat, led by the Nylan family. The families bribed Fenald, the chief of security of KDY, into aiding their attempt to overturn the inheritance exemption. The attempt failed, and Fenald was exposed as a spy. He was replaced by Kodor of Kulvult. Kuat did not entirely trust his new chief of security, and became increasingly paranoid, to the point where he ordered the shipyards to be wired with explosives. His suspicion was merited. Kodor had been the one to hire Fenald. The entire incident had merely been a ploy for her to become chief of KDY security, and leading to the Battle of Endor, many of these plots came to a head. The Rebel Alliance stationed a squadron of Y-Wings in the shipyards to watch over the system and ensure that the Empire did not receive the latest batch of heavy warships. Kodor managed to retrieve the evidence against Xizor from Boba Fett, as well as Katil, promptly returning to Kuat in a meeting with the Rebel squadron. Kodor offered a deal with the Rebels. If they would help her take control of Kuat Drive Yards, she would provide support for the Alliance. Kuat managed to hear the conversation and decided not to allow anyone to have the shipyards. He began the self-destruction of the shipyard facilities. The Rebel squadron took the opportunity to move in and attempt to steal a number of warships, mainly Lancer-class frigates and EF-76 Nebulon B escort frigates. At the same time, Boba Fett arrived to question Kuat as to why the technician had been attempting to kill him, and after a brief conversation, Fett took control of the large warship Kuat had chosen as his tomb. When Kuat committed suicide, Fett piloted the ship out of the dock, cutting the link for the self-destruct sequence. The explosions ended, with 80% of the docks remaining intact. Post-Endor. After the Battle of Endor, the Empire took more direct control of Kowat drive yards. Construction continued on both new Executive-class vessels as well as the Eclipse class, but KDY was no longer the independent company Kowat had maintained. Security increased to the point where the system was guarded approximately as well as Coruscant. This didn't stop various raiders from attempting to steal ships or attack the shipyards. One of the most famous incidents took place in 4 years after the Battle of Yavin, with the Battle for the Eclipse, where the Xan Consortium gained access to secret information inside the vaults of Eclipse. Preceding their goal was a huge fleet battle against both a Rebel and Imperial task force, which led to the destruction of 3 Cardan-class space stations and the Star Dreadnought Annihilator. The other was the Battle of Kowat in 7.5 years after the Battle of Yavin. In the build-up to this battle, Warlord Zinj discovered through his network of spies that Kowat was nearing completion of a new Executive-class vessel. He arranged assistance from a member of the ship's complement to set up a black market ring in exchange for access to the new ship when necessary. Zinj also hired a collection of privateers, mercenaries, and pirates to create an expendable fleet. What he did not know was that the New Republic Wraith Squadron had joined his ragtag armada, posing as a pirate gang, the Hawkbats. Wraith Squadron member Shal Nelprin was selected to join Zinj's infiltration group. The mission went flawlessly, with the infiltrators seizing the bridge of the ship, the Razor's Kiss, and blasting the vessel out of its berth. The defense ships in the system responded quickly, but Zinj arrived within his fleet, led by another Star Dreadnought, the Iron Fist. After a short battle in which the Wraiths took the opportunity to plant a locator beacon on the Razor's Kiss, Zinj retreated with his new acquisition. While the Razor's Kiss would be destroyed shortly thereafter by General Solo's task force, Kowat drive yards suffered heavily in the three-way battle. Besides the theft of the massive warship, several Star Destroyers were lost, and the shipyard suffered severe damage from the violent escape. And this concludes Kowat Drive Yards Part 2. Next week, we'll wrap it up with Part 3. And as always, I want to say thank you to Wikipedia, StarWars.com, TheForce.net, and other Star Wars sites out there for their lore information. Folks, if you enjoy the lore as much as I do, please visit these sites, look up your topics, and enjoy the lore.
Great lore topic as always, Lou.
Thank you.
And that brings us into the Community Holo Feed, starting with the Trivia Question of the Week. Each week, we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com and we'll link you right to it in the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button you press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes at the very end of the video. Then, shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. In the email, include character name. What else, Lou?
Your faction, please.
Your what?
Faction?
Your what?
Oh, did I mention faction?
I think you meant faction.
They should probably also include their faction, right?
Really?
Right.
I don't think they need to.
And your server. And if there is more than one correct answer, we'll do a random drawing to win a cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we'll draw on the show every few months. You can be entered into the grand prize drawing every time that you answer correctly. It is the name in the hat system here. And Lou, who was last week's winner?
Last week's winner is Liu Chi from Jedi Covenant.
Whoop whoop. Sorry.
And for those of you who want to know the answer to last week's question, the answer was the Imperial Knights. Look them up, folks, because, yes, you heard correctly, Imperial Knights. They aren't Jedi, but they also aren't Sith. However, they do serve the Empire. And for those of you who have read into the EU and know how the Empire is structured after Palpatine's fall, okay, pretty much what happens is that 60 years after the Battle of Yavin, okay, this is when the Imperial Remnant actually has an honest-to-goodness peace accord with, it's not the Republic anymore, it's the Galactic Alliance, because when you read the books over the course of the decades after Return of the Jedi, the Republic, has ups and downs to where now all the good people of the galaxy realize, you know what, the Republic model is not working for us anymore, we'll just be an alliance, because that worked for them in the past. Okay? And with that being said, the new head of state for the Empire, he falls in love with and eventually marries, guess who? Jaina Solo. Okay? Who herself is a Jedi Knight. And Jagged Fell, who's her husband, he realizes that the Empire also needs something like the Knights, but doesn't want the Sith back. So, he proposed an idea to Luke. You know what? Why don't you start up an order here within the Empire? Which he turned down, but in the end, Fell was able to get it done. He actually has the Imperial Knights created, and thing is with the Imperial Knights is that they don't answer to anyone but the Emperor. They don't answer to the Jedi. They don't answer to the Sith. They answer only to the Emperor. And the one one of the qualities of the Imperial Knights is that the Imperial Knights are sworn to serve the Emperor, but their loyalty and their allegiance is to what they feel from the Force. So if they ever see the Emperors going down the dark path, it's their job to kill the Emperor.
So these guys aren't evil like the Sith would be. They're trying to keep the Empire good, in their own way.
Right. What happens is that they have an order like the Jedi Knights in the Empire, but they don't serve the Jedi Council, but they don't serve the Sith either. So they are Force users who are just as skilled and qualified as a Knight or as a Sith warrior or as a Sith, but they don't serve either side. Their allegiance is to the Force, but they serve the Empire and they serve the Emperor.
They use lightsabers?
Yes. Yeah, they're Force users. They're all Force users. The Imperial Knights are what they are. They have, when you actually look them up, if you look on, especially on the Wikipedia, when you look at the EU comics for them, you'll see they actually have their own armor. They wear their own. Remember the Imperial Guard, the Royal Guards, what they wear, like from Return of the Jedi. Okay, that blood red armor the Royal Guard wear. They wear that same color, but they have armor kind of tailored to what the Grandmaster from the first trailer from Deceived.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
right. That armor set. Okay, they have their own variation of that. So they have their own armor and everything, but that's what they are. Then they have the Imperial symbol on their armor too.
Nice. Sounds like that would be a cool armor to see them add into the cartel market at some point.
Yeah, well, it wasn't so far ahead in the future, but yeah, that is something that I actually thought about. So that'd be really cool. They actually put on the Imperial Knights.
Yeah, because they've never added anything out of timeline sequence as I look at Tree.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, guys, if folks, if you really like that concept, yeah, look them up, and they have their own series of like comics and graphic novels in the EU. So look them up because they actually are pretty interesting concept when you look at it. Imperial Knight. They're not Jedi Knights, they're Imperial Knights.
Yeah, get it right.
It is very interesting. See, when I first heard the term, I was immediately thinking of the Imperial Guard, those guys that use like electro staves and wear the red. That's who I thought that you were talking about here. And then, this is something I might have to look up.
I mean, they are pretty much like I guess an involvement of the Imperial Guard, of the Royal Guard.
Yeah, but the difference is the Imperial Guard serves the Emperor in the sense that he can speak into their minds and tell them what to do, but these Imperial Knights are charged with destroying the Emperor if he goes to the dark side.
Right, and that's exactly how that was one of the reasons for being. When Bell creates them, that's one of the directives he gives the Knights, saying, yeah, this is what I want you to do. So that we don't go down this path ever again with the Empire. This is one of the duties you have to carry out. So if you ever see an Emperor going down the dark side, you have to destroy them.
Now, to your knowledge, did that ever happen? Did they ever have to make good on that commitment and destroy an Emperor?
Spoilers. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Okay, that's all you have to say.
Yep.
No more detail, because I'm sure a lot of fans are going to be looking into this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then that brings us into our Twitter feedback from the week. And Mark_Swotor said, listen to @BadFeeling Podcast over lunch. Started @SwotorBeyond on the way home from work. Solid uses of time. Tonight, conquesting abounds. Bad Feeling Podcast @StarWarsBeyond. I like the Cantina tunes. And Z-Man_the Gamer @StarWarsBeyond. I love the background music. Pretty cool. You should change it up every week. Next, do it from Cord Stronghold.
Ew, I don't want to be in there.
Imperial March. And he also said, or some similar dark yet powerful Imperial music. The Monkey Legacy @StarWarsBeyond. Awesome, and love the background music throughout. Jager @StarWarsBeyond. Listening right now. Are you guys in the cantina in my Nar Shaddaa stronghold? That's the music on my jukebox. And Lewis, our trivia question winner, @StarWarsBeyond. I thought it was good having the Cantina music adds a lot more kickback attitude, which I approve. Peleus at StarWarsBeyond and at Sith Lord Corv. I enjoyed it. The Cantina music made a fun change. Madmar at SWTOR Family. At StarWarsBeyond. Can we expect more travels? Sunbathing in the Dune Sea, relaxing next to the lava pools on Oricon? Freezing the balls of a brass monkey on Hoth? Can have some great RP items through in.
What? I think the gist of that is that people like it when we go other places. They too agree that the ship is a dump.
The ship is not a dump.
It's a dump! Everybody thinks so. We did have some Facebook feedback. I did post a photo of the Star Wars Rocking Tauntaun recommendation last week. And Chris S. said, in the immortal words of Arnold, "You are one ugly expletive. I'll give you a hint. It's MFer. I don't think it's ugly. And secondly, sorry, it's loading. I'm not going to read it. He just basically said, good show, like the music, keep it up. Do more things. I don't remember what they are.
Are you done now?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, Lou, I think we got an email, too.
Yes, and this week's email is from JJ. And JJ writes in, "So cool that you were in a different place this week. Keep it up. Try to merge with Lou's report. So cool. Seeing as you're a roleplay podcast, it spices it up. Next, I want you to play different music in the jukebox, though. Plus, there are different jukeboxes, too. I guess he wants to switch up the order of tunes, the jukebox, especially going on the fleet.
Well, I do appreciate that everybody responded so warmly to us being in the cantina last week. However, our main setting for this show is aboard the Crimson Seabiscuithawk. However, we're not averse to taking vacation days from time to time and going to a few different locations here and there. It's not going to be every week, though.
Right. Well, plus, I also wouldn't be adverse to visiting the Viking space dock every now and then.
I hate the fleet. If we're sitting on the fleet, then we're gonna have to be reading general chat. F that.
Well, for 1 million credits, just get the band, just go up to the the VIP platform.
If they knew Sith Lord Corv was up on the VIP platform, everybody'd be buying the wristband.
Oh my god. Full of yourself much?
Shut up, smuggler. You're not even allowed on the vacant space dock.
On the what space dock? Sounds like you said vacant.
Yeah, the vacant one that the Republic controls.
Mm-hmm. I go wherever I want. Thank you.
Nobody plays rep side.
Silence.
Except Jay Connell.
Ew, Jay, no.
So, Paige, what's going on in the SWTOR community?
Let's see how badly I butcher this segment this week. Yeah. Check out these up-to-date podcast episodes. We have Torocast episode 213 posted on the 16th of September on torocast.com. Corellian Run Radio episode 126 available on Corellian Run Radio. Nope. Corellianrun.com. My bad.
You don't even need me to mess you up.
No, I do so well on my own. My performance in this segment is forgettable at best. Anyway, Corellian Run Radio episode 126 available on CorellianRun.com. Oh yeah, since the 16th. UntiniCast episode 165 available on UntiniCast.com since the 18th. The Unnamed SWTOR podcast episode 56 since the 16th and can be found at gadokgaming.com. SWTOR Escape podcast episode 56 available at newoverlords.com since the 16th. Old Republic Radio episode 78 on the 16th, also available on iTunes. Healing SWTOR released another episode on the 14th to iTunes. And the Bad Feeling Podcast, episode 32, on the 18th to iTunes and badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that podcast is explicit. Also, follow Madmar at SWTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. And if you'd like to have your podcast listed in this segment, send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. I finished strong. Goop. 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 Are you clapping? Goop.
No, I'm playing patty cake with Treek.
Goop. Goop.
Oh, that's
Wait.
just disturbing.
You need some hand sanitizer. I just need some Lysol for this entire ship. I can't do it. Ugh.
It's gonna be a lot of Lysol because this is a battle cruiser. Just saying.
I just have a feeling that after he like touches Treek's pee hands, he's gonna come over and like touch my face. He'll be like, "Oh, are you piloting the ship? I hope you can see. Oh my God, is that pee hands? That's your new name, pee
Not
hands."
exactly, but you'll be interested to know that Treek used your towel.
My what? My towel?
Yes.
Oh,
The
no.
one that's used for washing your face.
Me too.
I'm just gonna have to wipe my face on my sleeve from now
You're
on.
gonna get the Ewokpox.
Ewokpox.
And now I'm going to tell you how you can get a hold of us. You can find out more about this show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyond Podcast. You can send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us. The show is at StarWarsBeyond. I am at SithLord Corv, KORV. Lou is at GamerGuy11B. Paige is at Asaphiry, ASAPHIRY. And ZZ is at ZZ Corrode. And now it's time for our final thoughts.
My final thought.
Ewokpox!
My final thought is that Fred is disgusting and he should have to share the bed with Treek. Lou?
Wow, what a lead into that. How do I top that?
Well, I mean, he did feed you Twizzlers out of who knows where he pulled
Don't
those.
you remember? That's why I don't cut my toenails so Treek won't get into bed with me.
Oh, God.
So melty.
Last
Anyway,
time she peed on my blanket and then I took it into Lou's room and it just dripped all over the floor. Oh, wait. I don't think Lou found my blanket shoved under his bed yet.
That's why it smells in there.
I'm going to thoroughly just flame scour my room now.
Do you want a new room, Lou?
Just open the door, throw a grenade in there, and then just close
I
it.
think I will. I mean,
You know what?
The
Forget
ship's
it.
big enough.
I'm just saying, we're on an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
There's plenty
exactly.
of extra rooms.
Exactly, which is why
Especially-
I don't have a problem finding a new room.
Especially since you don't have a, crew or anything.
Exactly.
You get to shave Treek's back.
Ugh, God.
You have to, or else she gets Shiduki stuck in it when she goes to the bathroom.
Oh my God!
Goopa noopa.
What's your final thought, Lou? Fred, please stop.
Well, my thought was, I really wish that teaser trailer was more of a, I guess, teaser at this point because they really didn't show us much of anything. So I really hope they will drop some more information later on in 3.0. At least give us something more substantial. I know BioWare has always been, I guess, they play themselves close to the chest, keep themselves tight-fisted with information, but come on, give us something already. Let us know something definitive about 3.0, what to expect. It's enough of the teasing, just start giving people out information. Not a lot, but start handing it out, folks. Keep your play base informed as to what's coming. Get them excited, get them ramped up for it. So I'm really hoping that more information 3.0 is coming out soon.
And my final thought, I really wish the last 5 minutes hadn't happened. But in light of that, here you go, Lou. Here's the Barbasol and the razor. Knock yourself out.
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
I'd like to say goodnight first. Good night, everyone. And Lou, I promise not to take pictures of you and Treek in the bathtub together.
Oh, that will never make it past the Imperial Censorship Board.
I'll put it on Twitter for everyone.
Yeah, on the holo feed for everyone to see. Good night, everyone. Take care. Thanks for joining us tonight. See you all again next time.
What happened to Fred?
Good night.
Oh my God.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars trivia question for the week of September 22nd, 2014. First clue. I was on a mission to venture into the Outer Rim and bring someone back, the last of their kind. Second clue. During my journey, an assassin would undertake sabotage to ensure my valued passenger never reached their destination. Third clue. In my travels, I would encounter the fastest ship in the galaxy. Fourth clue. In the heat of battle, my actions would later deprive a ravaged world of its fuel resources. Fifth clue. Another of my kind found its grave on a world gone lifeless and abandoned through malice and treachery. Who or what am I? And as always, folks, in your response in the email, please include your character name, your faction, and what server you play on. Good luck!